So, friends, today we are going to talk about the private placement and how the private placement of securities, whether shares or a bond, takes place and what are the key characteristics embodied in private placement of security. So, let us just brief about private placement first and then we will talk about the key characteristics of the private placement. So, private placement is basically a sale of security made by the corporate in the form of shares or a bond or other instrument, and this sale is basically directly made to a selected group of identified investor rather than the general public like IPO, FPO and all. So in India this process is primarily governed by the section 42 of the Companies Act. In the simple sense we can say private placement happens when we do not target the public at large, rather our focus is on a selected group of people, that is all they are also called identified investors. So this kind of issuing security or sale of security by the corporate or a corporation or a company to such investor is governed by section 42 of the Companies Act 2013. So let us discuss briefly what are the key characteristics involved in private placement. So first is target audience. So this kind of private placement offering is made to a selected group, as we have already discussed the definition itself, and the persons are identified by the board. The board identify or shortlist those investors, and accordingly private placement of security to be made to them only. Investor limit. In a single financial year, an offer cannot be made to more than 200% in the aggregate, but this excludes qualified institutional buyers and employee under ESOP scheme. No public advertising. In private placement, companies are strictly prohibited from using public media, advertisement, marketing channels to promote the offer. When there is no public advertisement, there means no prospectus. So, unlike a public issue, a full prospectus is not required here. Instead, a private placement offer letter, which is in the which has a form called PAS4, is used here for private placement purposes. Non-renounceable. The offer is personal to the identified individual and cannot be transferred or it cannot be renounced or endorsed to anyone else. So now what is the common type of private placement? First is preferential allotment. Allotment means when a company issues shares to a specific group such as promoters or strategic partner at a set price. So this is called preferential allotment. Second is qualified institutional placement. Qualified institutional placement is basically a faster route. It is for faster route for the listed companies to raise capital extensively from the qualified institutional investors like mutual funds or banks. Third is private investment in public entity. Public equity means when a public company or a listed company sells shares to private investors, often or at a discount. So this is called private placement in public entity. So what are the legal and financial requirement involved in private placement? First is shareholder approval. A special resolution must be passed by the shareholder before making such an offer. Minimum investment. Generally, investment size must not be less than 20,000 of the face value per person. Payment mode. Subscription must be paid by a banking channel. Check, DD, cash is strictly prohibited or not allowed. Allotment timeline. Security must be allotted to the investor within the 60 days of receiving the application money, or the fund must be refunded within 12% interest. Either 60 days from the date of receiving the application money, you allot the security, otherwise refund those application money along with 12% interest to the allottee or to the applicant. So friends, Now let us discuss some advantage and disadvantage of private placement. In terms of speed, much faster than IPO or a public offer. Cost, it has lower expenses, no heavy underwriting cost, advertisement cost. Privacy, financial details remain confidential, no public disclosure here. Drawback, apart from some benefits, it has some drawbacks as well, like limited to a small number of investors. Investor may demand higher return or ownership. Shares are generally illiquid, not easily tradable. These shares cannot be easily tradable, so that is why they are called illiquid, because there is a capping limit of uh, some time they need to, till then they cannot sell those shares. So if you would like to know more about specific forms like Pass 3, Pass 4, or the penalties for the non-compliance with these rules, so you may offer or you may refer the company law and related provisions, or you may consult company law related professionals, CS or CMA, or even advocate as well. So friends, this was all about the private placement, and in my coming video soon we will discuss about how IPO is to be managed, how IPO can be done, what are the key steps and processes involved in the IPO, what is SME IPO. So we will address all these questions of my viewers. So I again request you, please subscribe my channel and refer or share my channel with your family, friends, and whatever the professional community or a fraternity you belong to. I shall be very thankful, and it gives me a sense of motivation to prepare good videos and informative videos for all of you. Please make sure this video is not only relevant for student, this is also relevant for professional as well as the business community as well. So I urge all my viewers and my friends to please subscribe and give your comments and advice to me to make much more informative video ahead. So let's meet soon. Till then, thank you very much. Jai Hind.